what's the latest on the NC State coaching search? Do I need to bring up the Brad Crawford tweet from 24/7 Sports? This reads as speculation, not necessarily a report, but I think we can kind of connect the dots with a 24/7 guy. And who is Will Wade's agent?
Evan Daniels.
Evan Daniels, for those who are old school, might remember his byline on 24/7 back in the day. He is Will Wade's agent. So Crawford tweets out, Will Wade is holding out for a bigger job. He will not be NC State's head basketball coach. I do believe he would be an excellent hire, though, and the one NC State's NIL arm would get behind. And that really seems to be the thing that I've picked up on. I know you know more. The money people want Will Wade. But what the money people want, and maybe what Will Wade wants, and where Boo Corrigan's going to have to go, might not be on the same page. So where are we on this right now?
Well, I think you sum that up correctly with Will Wade, that it's not like, oh, he's too good for NC State. It's I think Will's looking at his options. What are they?
Yeah.
And I think he would be inclined to take a job like NC State because, quite frankly, this isn't Will Wade from 17 when he's at VCU and ready to ride a rocket ship to the top of a Power 5 conference, a Power 5 job. He's at McNeese. It's a different situation. But I think if you look at what Will Wade's background is, there's not a symbiosis there with Boo Corrigan's background. And the best I can tell from my sources inside NC State, there's some of those I have, and some of them are outside NC State. Other coaches, other agents, people of that ilk. The names that are coming, the names that keep coming up that are not Will. They're not Will.
Not Will Wade, though.
Not Will.
Not those sources.
They are Mike White,
yeah,
who's at Georgia, who had Mike White's dad, Kevin White, and Boo Corrigan's dad, Gene, work together. There's a mentor situation there between Kevin White and Boo Corrigan. Their sons, the Corrigans and Whites, they get along. They have a friendship, a real friendship. Okay. He's at Georgia in year 3 at Georgia. He's in a situation where he might look at Georgia and go, well, how far can I go with Georgia basketball, right? Some people look at it and say, hey, Georgia basketball, it's a football school. You're kind of out of the spotlight. But we've talked about where revenue sharing is going. I think at the SEC, they're going to just throw a bunch of money at football and kind of hope that basketball can get NIL work done. So I would say that you start there. The second name I've heard is Mike Brey, the former Notre Dame coach. Mike is 65. He's been out for 1 year. Some people think, well, he didn't like the direction of college basketball with the portal, with NIL, with, how the game had changed. That's not really true. Mike at Notre Dame was not into NIL. It was Riley Leonard and Sam Hartman who convinced Notre Dame as a school, like, hey, this is a good idea. So Mike Brey, someone obviously, again, with a Notre Dame connection, I think it would make a lot of sense. He's also a guy who's last year almost took the South Florida job from our guy, Mike Kelly, down there.
Yeah, he's the AD at
so
South
he
Florida.
has an interest in being back in it. Mike is an unbelievable coach's coach. I think that would be, Mike's a great coach.
It would help us.
Period. Mike's a great coach. Period. So then you get, you're starting to think, okay, well, Ryan Odom. Yeah, Ryan Odom's on that list. Again, you're talking about someone whose dad was a lifer in the ACC, and Dave Odom, was at Virginia, Gene Corrigan, the whole thing. There's a lot of connections there. And I keep trying to get back to people to understand that this is Boo Corrigan's search. It's not Brian McMurray's search. It's not the Savage Wolves search. It's not Debbie's search. It's Boo Corrigan's search. He's trying to hire someone that is in line with his thought processes. This is his big moment.
Yeah.
This is his big hire. He's not going to gamble on someone he's not comfortable with. I do think Ryan Odom would be someone he's comfortable with, but Ryan Odom has options.
He does.
Ryan Odom is now in that Will Wade seat from 17. He's now in that Archie Miller seat from 17, where he can maybe pick and choose. Virginia, who we saw lose today, was one of those options. Again, Dave Odom, former coach there. Villanova is a job that some people are kind of sort of waiting to come open. And it could. So we could see Ryan Odom be like, hey, I would rather do that. I don't think anyone would blame him.
You mean timing at NC State might not be working out again?
May not. But also, like, think about it. The Big East every coach, every agent I talk to wants in the Big East.
Yeah.
Because of revenue sharing, there's no football in the Big East. So your budget next year is looking at like about $8 to $10 million, even at the worst Big East job. And I promise you, Villanova is not the worst Big East job. I promise you that.
No.
And then the last name that I've been hearing too is Justin Gainey. You know, he's an assistant at Tennessee, played for Herb Sendek here. Justin has an unbelievable background, including when he was at App State. He was the one who recruited Devontae Graham out of Broughton.
Right.
Then he goes to Arizona, and at Arizona, he helped Sean at a time when Sean had his ass in the sling. Sean Miller had his ass in the sling with the NCAA. So he helps him build that roster. He goes from Sean, he goes to Rick Barnes. His son plays for Rick Barnes. Justin's been an integral part of Tennessee's success in the last 5 to 10 years. Okay. And he is in line to be Tennessee's next coach. He was also involved in the end there at Florida State. He had a chance down there. So I think those names fit the profile of what Boo is looking for. These are also names that are other coaches, other ADs, other agents are telling me that they're hearing. So that's how I'm trying to frame this for everyone. I'll be perfectly transparent with you. Debbie would text me even during searches. She would at least respond to me and say, "You're not right.
Right.
You got X wrong."
Right.
Okay. I do not have direct access to Boo. Okay. But what I do have access to are other coaches, other ADs, other agents. These are the names that they're telling me are involved in this search. The one name missing there is, yes, Will Wade. Now, I have some connection and ways to get to Will, but I think ultimately Will, just like last time in 17, is a guy who's going to sit here and go, wait a second, what are my options? What are they?
Yeah.
And I think Texas, if a lot of people say Indiana is not going to hire Chris Beard. Okay. But, quite frankly, if Mike White takes the NC State job, I could see Will Wade at Georgia tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's just the reality of that situation.
You got that SEC money.
So that's a long way of saying I'm trying to explain. I know some people are like, well, if I'm like, I don't guess. I'm not guessing. And some people are like, oh, you delete this tweet. The State fans are gonna be mad at you forever.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not making the hire, guys.
Yeah. You're not. You're just laying
I'm
things
trying
out.
to let you know.
You're just laying things out
because it is good for a fan base that somehow has convinced themselves that Will Wade is their next coach. I get it. The money people are that thirsty for it.
That's what they want.
And I get that.
And I can see the fit.
And I respect that.
I can see the fit.
I respect that. But there is a reality to this search.